Oh, yeah, all right. I know she's I know.
Dave said there's a car. And once in a while, years ago when okay.
But I'm more so, we've had, I
Right, I know. I know. I have a small, I have a couple back painters. One of them is like this one, and it fits really nice when you go up, you can put it in an airline, like it'll fit in your head, and I can fit two lenses, all the lenses that are all in it. I have it.
Oh, we got two mics tonight, huh?
Yeah, we had last time too.
So that's on, ready to go, or?
Yeah.
So it's recording me now? It's recording me now?
Yeah, we're. Other than
No.
is that one not working?
No, I did not.
No.
Is the battery dead?
So it might be. Any batteries in the drawer?
I don't know.
We didn't worry.
Somebody left it on then.
Nope.
We used to have some in the drawer.
I don't know if they're any good. Who knows how long they've been sitting there.
Afraid I'll regret
To sell, bring some double A's next time. Shit. Triples, right?
Yeah. Probably in the same state this is in. You know they're dead when the low battery light comes on and it goes off.
Well, let's see if we can nurse this. Maybe play the contacts, put it back in, try. Should check
I
this.
don't know, man. I think that's wishful thinking.
Should check this a little sooner,
Are
right?
there any batteries in the...
It's coming on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. But I'll tell you. I've got more in there, so.
I don't know, maybe these aren't dead. They're just,
I've never been.
I don't know, are they dead or are they,
Yeah,
was it the same?
It's not saying anything. Not saying low battery or anything.
Yeah, it's 100%.
The lighting.
Alrighty. Capsules or not? I got there around 4, everybody was leaving. I had to work.
We're gonna stand.
So am I gonna stand like here with that in my shirt? Rather than, is that showing me? Is that wide enough?
I had to find a Bible. I know. I didn't
Duct tape we're out of.
no purchase requisition.
Duct tape is completely out, so you just.
You know, I hear people been having fun with the duct tape.
Absolutely.
Oh, I went to other ones, yeah. But I know this one does more sweet
You're collecting for Rich, right? Afterwards, the voting table?
Yeah, these kind of.
Good evening, everybody. Wow, that thing's loud with it, isn't it? I can hear you. You can hear me otherwise, or do you like this? You like that? I don't like that, but what's that? Am I good? I gotta stand in front of the camera for Dan, don't I? Welcome to our second critique of the year. And I'm still not in the frame, apparently.
There you go. Just stand still. We're good. I'll catch you.
You'll get me?
And then you move.
And then I move. Gotta keep in mind, got it. Anyway, so welcome everybody tonight. Tonight's judge is Bob Catterback. He's been here a number of times. He'll come up and go through our images shortly. Couple announcements to make. Ray's doing a field trip this weekend to Letchworth. He's going to go over a couple particulars with you.
Okay, we're going to meet for people who want to carpool at exit 49 on Transit Road at 7 o'clock.
7 a.m.
7 a.m., yeah. We'll leave there as close to that as we can. We'll give people a little bit of time to show up. If you want to drive on your own, we're going to meet at the Mount Morris Dam parking area. Should be there around 8 o'clock. I'm going to look over a couple of things. We'll do most of the view spots to get the colors, and probably the main falls, and maybe if you want, we'll do one or two of the other smaller falls. Probably Wolf's Glen and a couple others.
Okay.
Depends how much walking you want to do.
Okay. We're also working on a field trip for the Butterfly Conservancy over in Canada. Do we have interest in that, folks?
Sure.
Because we need like 20 people-ish.
Yeah, we're gonna,
So between us and Science Museum, I think we're going to open it up to them as well and try to get a joint group together. So we do have some interest, so keep going on
Okay,
that,
I will.
please. Probably when the weather turns crappy around here, you know, because it's nice and warm inside.
do we want to do the bird place too? Bird Kingdom?
Bird Kingdom 2?
Yeah. I think we only need 11 for the group rate for that. It's only a couple bucks off. But the butterfly people say that if we have the people they'll try and open it up early for us before the crowd gets there and we can use tripods.
So maybe January-ish after
Yeah,
the
I'm thinking
holidays?
maybe middle of January.
Does that work for everybody? People are gonna be in town,
Yeah.
most likely?
Most likely a Saturday.
Okay. Rich Brewer's not here tonight. He's collecting images for the library, which is, I think, next Friday night, or Friday day. Table in the back is to drop your images off, please, so he has images to put up. Anybody that would like to help with putting up that display is certainly more than welcome.
9 o'clock.
9 a.m. at the library on Meadow Drive in North Tonawanda
Yes.
for that one. If anybody can help Rich with that, please. We got 2 meetings before our holiday party comes up. Yeah, we're there, guys. Sharon?
I brought the sign up for it too.
Oh,
I
good,
can put it up.
good. That like tape it up to the wall, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to take it down, they don't want to
Sure.
put it up.
Do we want to do the same potluck dinner, or do we want to see about
No.
maybe the club doing like a hot meal, like brought in? Any interest? No, we want to do the potluck dinner?
Yes.
Yes?
That usually works pretty.
Okay, just seeing if we have interest in doing something otherwise. Okay, so we'll work on the sign-up sheet. Let's try not to duplicate things so we don't have 17 rigatoni spaghettis. I know we like rigatoni spaghetti, but, 17 of them get a little overwhelming.
We can turn it into a competition.
Who has the best rigatoni? You're onto something. And we could have a door prize for it. Bruce, you're on for that. Door prize for the best rigatoni. Well, we're gonna have 17 of them. We gotta figure out who has the best one here. I can't judge because I'm partial if my wife makes it. I'm out. Anything else from anybody else?
Don't forget the Facebook page, the monthly,
Oh, the monthly challenge for Halloween. Please, if you got something else, post it in the Halloween theme, as per Paul's request for this month's challenge. Surprise for next month is going to be, who knows? You know, but it's a surprise for the rest of us, so.
Best turkey picture.
Best bird? Give him the bird? I don't know.
Careful.
Anyway, that's it. Bob Catterback, you're up. You're our judge for the evening. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll give you this one. That's the mic. That's the mic for the house.
I have a big mouth, so I probably don't need this.
This is the mic. We're recording you. Because we're recording the critique.
So what do I have to do with this?
So pin that like on here too, please.
Up here? Okay.
And then.
I'm not going to be electrocuted, am I?
You won't be
Okay,
electrocuted.
all right. Maybe after the judging?
You might be mugged after the judging.
Okay. Let's see, what am I doing with this? Oh, I have to have all, this is all for this stuff, right?
Hanging it on your belt or in your pocket.
Wow, okay. I'm ready to rock and roll?
Okay, all of our prints are one category. There's no division. They're mixed in
That's what
black
they were
and white. And the creative images will be announced and the name given to you.
Okay, that's all they going to be mixed in as they go?
Everything.
Okay.
It's print and projected.
All right,
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Well, it's very nice, small print, very nicely done. The bird stands out beautifully from the muted water in the background. A nice reflection, nice composition on this. Minor point, not that the reflection is integral to the picture, but the beak is going into the kind of the rock formation or whatever that might be, but that's just a minor point. So this is going to be a 13.
That's an honorable mention for Jack Norton.
Nice misty scene of the falls. I think what we have here, the subject itself is interesting, but it only occupies about 1/4 of the entire picture. I know you want to show the mist, but the mist just develops into kind of a bland background, and it really, I don't think, emphasizes or adds a lot to the photograph itself. I'd really like to see a little more emphasis on the falls and the rock formation. Also, a little bit more contrast to snap it up a bit in the foreground would help. On this one, it's going to be a 10. Excellent action shot of the whale. I guess you call that breaching or whatever the term is for that, but the water splashing off of it. Well positioned, nice background, a little bit of interest in the sky as well. Again, minor point on this, as far as the exposure is good. You can see detail throughout the whale and in the water and in the background. But since it's arcing to the right, I would rather, if you had enough room on the right side, I know this happens quickly, you probably took a burst shot, I would like to see a little more room on the right, or maybe crop just a little bit on the left side up to where the splash is starting and almost make it a square. Other than that, excellent image, and it's going to be still a 13. That's a very dynamic shot, black and white on the jet. The smoke trails bleeding off of it. Good, excellent composition on the diagonal. It always adds emphasis and interest to a photograph when things are on a diagonal, although the wings are actually vertical, but the body itself is diagonal. Room to go into the frame, nice exposure. The mist all around in this case, and I hate to compare pictures one to the other, but here the mist, adds to the photograph, whereas on the falls, unfortunately, it kind of obscured the background. This is another 13. I hope you had a really long lens and you weren't using a wide angle there. That's a great shot of the gator with the teeth showing. Beautiful texture in the face, the eyes almost staring right at you. You could almost make a horizontal out of this. The foreground I don't think is absolutely necessary. It adds to the environment of where the alligator is. But you could probably crop that down and make it a horizontal or a panoramic. A little bit more room. It's a bit tight in the frame, but it's so beautifully exposed and the texture is there. 12. I'm not sure if this is infrared or how it's done to get all that beautiful whiteness in there, but it almost comes across as a high-key photograph. Compositionally, it's beautiful with the person in the foreground and kind of balanced by the bridge in the background. Nice reflections. And the highlight on the dress just makes her pop right out on this picture. For a small print, it has a very, very lot of interest, great exposure. It's a 14.
That's an honorable mention for Sandy Silvestri.
The new AKG. This is quite interesting. It's busy in a way, but it's busy in a sense that you're comparing this new interesting glass ceiling and its geometrics, if you will, with the geometrics of the chairs and the table. So that to me gives it a lot of dynamicism. Is that a good word? I don't even know, but it
is now.
you got and you got good contrast. The blacks are great, the whites are well handled in detail. It's split in half by the ceiling and by that, but I think it almost becomes a realistic abstract, semi-abstract. 13. Well, there's a piece of military equipment. The fellows working on it are getting it ready. I like the, I guess, sepia effect on this with the vignetting around. It really highlights it, and as a formal presentation of a vehicle, you don't often see it directly in front. It's almost like a portrait of the vehicle, but you can see all the details in it. Again, a 13 on this one. Very nice composition on the flower. Again, a diagonal base on it, which is out of focus and really doesn't really add to the picture, but it doesn't detract. However, in this particular case, you got highlights and you got shadows, and the main area of interest, I think, is the right side, where you have model color of shade and brightness. But the one right in the middle, which is the most out of focus, unfortunately, is probably the brightest in the frame. And my eye goes right to that, and it takes me away from what I really want to look at. The lower part really balances the upper part, but if there was a way that you could have taken that center one out of there, I think it would have added a lot to this particular photograph. This is a 10. Ah, the new boat. Whoa. Compositionally, it's very well done with the arch of the bridge framing the boat, if you will. Boat has plenty of room to go into. I think it's a little tight on the bottom. You could use a little bit more space on the bottom. It's pretty close to the edge of the frame. I like the musical background. It would be great if the bridge could be perfectly horizontal, but I think if you did that, the boat would be slightly askew. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of impact. It's lacking in contrast. It's kind of a muted scene, which would do much better in a foggy situation. So the biggest thing it has going for it is the compositional element. But if you could make that snap somehow, if you could redo that and bring it out, bring up the contrast, I think it would increase the score. 11. That's beautifully done. City Hall. Is that where Brown was until he got a $100,000 raise?
Yeah.
That is beautifully done. It's again a composition in geometrics, circles, curves taking you right into the main area. Good tonality throughout the darks and lights. Formal composition, perfectly symmetrical. That's a 15.
That's an honorable mention for Tom Kerr.
Well, Buffalo looks pretty good in this photograph. Beautiful black and white. Again, the composition is nice. The balance of the buildings sets it off real well, filling the frame. And again, good tonality. I can see detail in the trees in the foreground, even though some of them are dark. They do have texture in them. The buildings have good texture, and the sky is absolutely dynamite. I wouldn't want to be there too much longer. I don't know if it's going to be a tornado, a hailstorm, a hurricane, or if somebody just put that sky in. Any which way, it's a 14.
That's, excuse me, an honorable mention for Jack Norton.
This is creative.
Yes, the next image is creative. It's called 8 Colorful Circles.
They are indeed. Well, I like the colors, the purples with the black. I think that works well. The white corners are kind of taking me, not only because of the angle, but the color taking me out of the corners rather than keeping me into the photograph. They should almost be reversed. You could take those and flip them the other way. The composition is tight. The circles are just about touching the frame all the way around the photograph. And they're framing something that I'd like to have a little bit more interest on, that 4-point star that might be in the middle. If that had a very vibrant color and was a little bit bigger, I think it could really enhance this. Now, you're doing this, I guess, on a computer. I do a lot of stuff like this myself, and I never know when to stop. But I think a couple of those suggestions might improve it. The idea is good, what you're attempting to do is good, but I think it could use benefit from a little bit of those suggestions. And hopefully you've tried different colors. I get into these things and I don't know where to stop with the colors. Positives, negatives, everything. But I think if that center was a little bit more dynamic, it would stand out more. But for the attempt, 12. Well, this is a beautiful night scene. I like the composition. Love the sky. The tonality throughout is beautifully done. I just wish it were photographed from a different angle, because the bridge blends really into the background and you lose the structure. You can see it on the right side. I don't know if you're over on the left side and you photographed it, what would be on the right side in the background. But the time of night is so beautiful. I hope you went around and did some other pictures in that evening, because it was just gorgeous. It's hard to say because the color is so beautifully done. It's just that the subject matter is coming together quite a bit. 11. Well, this is an interesting shot as well. These little ones I have to kind of get up and look at a little closer. I like the, believe it or not, the framing, the geometrics in this thing are interesting. The canopy, if you will, allowing the light to come through with the pattern on the foreground. In the center of the picture, which is really framed by those things, and what you really are looking at is a little bit busy. Fairly nicely handled in terms of exposure. But I'd like to see something maybe a little bit more singularly standing out. I know you couldn't with this particular scenes down south somewhere, or whether it's here or another country, but anyway, this is an 11. That's quite different. I'm surprised you didn't say creative, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's interesting, it's different, and it pops out and it goes that somebody is really, really looking to show something different than the average person would probably notice or try to do. I'm wrestling with the whiteness of the eye versus the pupil, of course, which is dark, so I'm bouncing back and forth on that. I like the little bubbles picking up the reflection in there. 13.
And that does it for the print images.
Okay.
Take a 10-minute break, folks. While we regroup for
You probably want to turn that light off for a while. It's the one that's in your pocket.
Oh, down here.
How do you turn your mic off for your recording?
What's that?
You turn the mic off for the recording?
On the box or up here?
Yeah, this we can just set up here till you're ready. Are you gonna stay here? Or you can go?
I was going to go to the restaurant for a second.
Yeah, that one you might want to.
Not wired into anything, right?
This one you might turn off.
everybody else is wondering.
Just come see me when you're ready. Can you push that? Push it that way.
Try to go places where we came when we were towards the end of that.
My daughter, Saturday, it's kind of a day
I know exactly what road you're talking
She stays up late. Does she have a TV in her room? Oh, my brain.
And so then I said, okay, about this. Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, man, that
What about your siblings? Dave,
that your drone shot?
No, that was Bob's.
Oh, that was Bob.
I didn't enter anything this week.
You did?
No.
That was very nice. You been sick? Not enough time to do anything, so.
Yeah.
I like
I'm doing a lot of video stuff right now too, so yeah. So.
I like what I see on the Twin Cities, so keep up the good work.
What new, Bob? I didn't enter anything this week. I didn't enter anything this
So then, I drove the two shot.
Looks like I was toying around. I was toying around with, entering these boats. Oh man, I'm too old for it now. It's and then not tell me why. Was yours why? No, I didn't enter anything this week. Oh, you didn't? No. Like I said, I realize it's all subjective. But the one thing I ask is that you're going to give me those tell me why it's a first. And I gotta say, like my last 4 images, I didn't get that. Like, or it's some minor little thing that they say, and then he's just like, it's like,
the other one was colorful wheels.
yeah, I totally disagree with it. I'm like, if it was going the other way, it would be that's why I try to like when I'm judging for you, I like try to make sure that I give reasons, I give good, and I give what should be improved.
Everything's changing down there now. The guy that was in charge of the peer-to-peer board, he left. And so now, and they never had any involvement in the peer-to-peer.
You fly over water?
Yeah.
How do you like that?
I've seen things like that.
Well, I got that because I'm going to be flying around the swamps in Louisiana.
Oh yeah.
I know somebody that could have used that.
Might put one in
So we used to meet on Monday nights. Now he tells me, if I'm going to schedule anything, we're scheduling field trips. I have to schedule 3 months in advance. I take 8 people out and I got to get them scheduled 3 months in advance. He says I can't do Monday nights, so I have to shift it to another Wednesday. So very good.
that inability to be flexible. It's like you always saying, like, where'd you come up with 3 months? Why is that? Why can't you have like a, even if you just said, hey, you know, it's great weather this week, let's go.
Well, 2 weeks now. He says Monday nights is because maybe they had something else on Monday nights. scheduled a field trip on a Monday, I can't do it. Not on Monday. What is it, Sunday, National Holiday?
Well, is that what he said, or is it saying for
He
him?
doesn't talk to me. I've never talked to him. They have, like most nonprofits, they have two directors. Male and female. And everybody there thinks that they're having an affair, but I don't care about that. But as long as I've been here 2 years now, I have never talked about it. So he talks to his staff and sends his staff down to call me. And they're always apologetic. That's part of the reason you haven't got a unit.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I swear it's like people get power tripped. You get a little bit of power, and it's like, they just, and I'm like, I don't play that game. And I, to be honest with you, sometimes a lot of times I'm kind of oblivious to stuff that's going on. And I'm really I am who I am. What you see is what you get. They won't go behind your back and talk about this or talk about that.
There is.
Hey folks, the sign-up sheet for the holiday party is back
This
on
is
the Christmas counter.
right there.
So if you haven't
If I
signed
knew
up,
what I was doing, I'd be dangerous.
tonight's 50-50 is $20. $20. Bob's gonna run the number for me.
Okay. All right. It is looking like
The last three numbers are 6, 2, 9. Oh, Linda got it.
Just a little bit that way.
What's that?
Catching the top of your head, so you know.
Oh. Shoot it over there.
There you go. Should be good. There you go.
If I went this way, you could go right through.
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Now, I would, if you hadn't said that, I would. I know where it is.
Creative image. Atlas reaching for the globe.
Great composition. And the globe is certainly where the globe should be. Person didn't want to look at the globe, would have probably been blinded. Unless they had sunglasses on. It's a 14. Very nice. Great composition, great color.
It's an honor award for Paul Karras.
Well, here I think we have a tale of two elements. Portion of the motorcycle and the girl with the backlit with the sun right there. And I'm not, oh, she's riding. Okay, it's a device that she's riding. I thought for a minute she was standing on the pavement and there was some riding disc in front. I think the girl in that activity there is really the main subject of interest in that, even though the bike acts as somewhat of a frame, I think it's just too bold and too dominant in the picture. So I would like to see it a Slim Jim of just her, crop the other right side out. Exposure is fairly well handled, and she looks great in that part of the picture, but as it stands, it's going to be a 11 and 11. Good action shot here. Looks like playing in the rain, or maybe the sun, maybe the umbrellas are to keep the sun out. Good expression, good movement in the body, exposure as well throughout. On the, it's a little bit bright, but the grass is a little bit overpowering, but the expression is good running into the frame. Looking back, 13. Nice simple composition of the robin. I think there's the robin itself is well exposed. You can see detail in the dark feathers on the back portion, highlight in the eye. I think the elements around it are unnecessary and distracting. They could easily be cropped out. You don't have to erase them out, they can be cropped out. And I think it would add a little bit more emphasis to the robin. As it stands, 12.
As an honor award for Lynn McKidney, American Robin.
Interesting, almost industrial shot of a barge, I guess, going down the canal area here. A couple of photographers, a photographer in the right corner, another person disinterested and looking at our friend who's out of the frame. So you got some distracting elements in terms of the people. I think you could improve this quite a bit. Its exposure is well handled, the positioning is well handled compositionally, but the bottom almost 2/3 of the picture is unnecessary. You can come right up once again and make that it wouldn't quite be a panorama, but it would be an extreme horizontal, which I think would add to the emphasis on the boat. 11. Well, you got the peak action here of the bird with an insect or whatever in the beak coming in for a landing. However, the backlighting, as nice as it is overexposed. The wings are blown out, and the sharpness is not quite there. You got sharpness fairly well on the feet, but on the bird itself, it's not there. And the wooden piece where he's about to land, he or she, is unnecessary. You really don't need that in this particular case. I think you know that it would be coming into a landing somewhere. 10. This one, I wonder if it's the same one that was in the prints. In this case, it's been a little bit sleepy. Again, though, beautiful texture. You got nice texture throughout on the gator or the croc. I never know one from the other, but I guess they're cousins. Fairly nice composition. Diagonal would have made it a little bit stronger, but it does have a bit of room to go in on the left side. Maybe toning it down. I don't know if it's the projector. We have some issues with projections too. On sometimes the whites have a tendency to get a little bit blown out depending on the projection equipment. 12. This is a very nice composition of the Grand Island Bridges. A nice time, the golden water is there. You got some subtle reflections, but I don't know if that's, it looks to be, unfortunately, it looks like spots on the photograph. I don't know if that can be birds, but they seem to be all over. So forgive me if I'm wrong, if those aren't flying birds. But either way, I would get rid of them. You could easily get rid of them. It'd take a little effort to spot them all out, but you could get rid of them. I think that's very detracting, even if they are real birds flying around. 10. Nice composition on this. Interesting old building texture. Obviously the wheelchair is the element of interest. I would almost have gone in and taken the broom out of there because it competes subtly with the wheelchair. Positioned correctly. A little bit could be cropped off the bottom, but again, it doesn't seem to be razor sharp. I hope it's not my eyes going. Coloring is nice, the texture is nice. It's going to be a 11. Old building, interesting, a lot to look at here. The stairway going up on the left, and then the landing, and then continuing on up beyond the light. The light draws your eye right up and almost out of the frame. I think I would have just cropped that out of there and made it more of a a uniform exposure throughout. A little bit busy, and believe it or not, the stairs on the left and the railings and so forth on the right are acting as a frame to me of this defunct fireplace right down the middle. I like all the elements. I think there's a lot there that you could isolate and photograph probably all day long to get little bits and pieces of composition. I'd go back if it's in the area. 11. Beautiful composition, excellent portrait. The detail in the grays are very well handled. A little bit soft on the body, but you got the exposure where you want it to be, fairly sharp, not razor sharp, but fairly sharp. Again, the white's a little bit hot on the crown, but nevertheless, it's a 14.
Honor Award for Sally Brewer, Yellow-Crowned Night Heron.
This is beautiful. This is so subtle, so beautifully handled. Background, just the two figures, minimalist photograph. 16. Oh, 15.
An Honor Award for Beverly Goldsmith, Into the Mist.
It's interesting how you had the single subject there, and now we have kind of a single subject here with the sailboat in a similar position. This is really nice as far as a panoramic view of the city, beautifully handled all the way across the line there. But it's, again, as I said, with the motorcycle and the girl and with the sun in the background, you got a tale of two images here. I think you could really do that, make two images and put them in that way. As it is, I would love to have seen the sailboat coming into the photograph rather than heading out. And it is a bit hot compared to the exposure on the rest of the scene. The clouds are really beautiful. Well, I'm going to give it 6 for the, or no, I'm going to give it 8 for the upper part and 4 for the bottom. That's a 12. Huh. Somebody got out there and did the aurora. Wow. Wow, just in itself, that is so vibrant. And nice composition, nice framing, use the tree for framing in there. And you've got these little, I don't know, bits of piers or whatever, kind of pointing into the picture, which is nice. It takes you into the horizon. I don't know if that's a Toronto or somebody in the something in the back. What's lit up in the background there, very, very slightly, but it's accentuated by the aurora. 14.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Child of the corn.
Child of the Corn.
The last one didn't get an award.
No.
It needed a 15.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't know.
Master class.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. Well, you know what? No, I can't change it now. Can I change it now?
You're the judge.
No, it would be unfair. I think I've given some others 14 that probably I thought were going to get awards, so I got to leave it alone. I'm sorry about that. This is very nice. I like this too. How the texture background blends into the texture and the hair. It's the composition is so nice. With her hand going up, I almost wish the other hand on her right arm were in the photograph rather than taking you out of the bottom of the frame. But the exposure is so nice. The expression is beautifully done. 14.
So another award for Paul Karras, Child of the Corn.
Well, again, another air show picture. Interesting. Good exposure for the silver bomber. Exposure is well handled throughout on the lights and on the gray areas. The light sky adds a little bit to it. Once again, I think we have a situation here where you could easily have taken some of that sky out right down to the top layer of the clouds. A little bit more emphasis on a strong horizontal because the plane itself is pretty much horizontal, just tilted ever so slightly. I don't know if you'd want to try and tilt this, in the computer or not. Being a bomber, it's probably unlikely that they're going to fly on an angle unless they're turning. 13. Excellent geometrics. Excellent. This almost looks like it was purposely made into a symmetrical, but I don't think so, because there's some things that aren't exactly perfectly symmetrical in the middle of it. But the color is very, very dynamic. The geometrics, the stairway, the diamond effect of the stairs. It's a 15.
Honor award for Mike Desiak, the tomb.
Another beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. The hoofs off going over the hurdle. Detail in the horse is just outstanding. Even detail in the navy blue on the rider and the cap. Almost a patriotic red, white, and blue on the person going into the frame. It's very well handled. It's a 15.
Honor award for Jeffrey Haywood, steeplechase jumper.
Nice composition here of, yes, I'm not sure exactly where this lighthouse is. I've seen it before, but can't even remember exactly. Nice exposure. Composition, I'm feeling a little bit that it's a little bit tilted to the right. The whole rock mass seems to be dipping down a bit. Looks like it come up, and the lighthouse seems to be a tad off vertical. Again, not sure if you need this rock in the foreground. It does give you kind of a perspective as far as where you are, but I think, again, that could be cropped out of there and put more emphasis on the rock formation in the lighthouse and the adjunct buildings as well. Exposure beautifully handled. Still a 13.
Honor Award for Jack Norton, Double White Cape Netick.
Well, this obviously is family or family and friends or whatever. Really nice expressions on the children, just really nice. You know, it could be for your family. I can't say family album anymore. When I take pictures and I have people in them, I say, you're no longer in my family album, you're in my family computer. But this is so nicely handled. Just a little bit, again, could be the projector. Seems a little bit bright, but I just love the expressions on their faces. I'm going to give a 15 on this, even though it's a little bit bright.
That's an honor award for me.
Oh, you guys are bringing out the heavy guns this round. I often wondered how these birds could fly with that 5-pound beak, but I found out in reading that it's very, very lightweight. Anyway, nice composition, balanced by the little greenery here on the branch. Had that not been there, I think you'd have had to crop it to a vertical to make it stand out. But that just kind of balances nice, beautiful background. I'd take out that little gray corner in the upper right. That kind of, it's a tad distracting. You can just erase it or crop it out. 14.
Honor Award for Marisha Hellenbrook. This has a number name.
Another great shot. This shallow depth of field is good. You don't really need a super depth of field. You got the depth of field to cover the animal from front to back pretty much. I see a sharp focus from forward around the background. The fiery leaves or whatever you have, it's almost like a fire in the background. I don't know if it really distracts in a way. I'm flip-flopping between it accentuating the picture and detracting from the picture. But I think in this particular case, it's okay. And you certainly have the detail in the antlers and the face, and I'm going to go 15 on this.
Honor Award for Marissa Hellenbrook. Again, it's just the number 5.
Here we have, I don't know if it's the same building or a different one. You have to tell me later where this is. I like stuff like this and I rarely find it. Well, the main thing here is we had in the earlier one, which was a wheelchair. Here we have just a regular sitting chair, column, an old radiator, and a bench. So we have really kind of 4 elements and a couple of windows. But compositionally, they kind of work together. Maybe taking the column out altogether and having the window, the chair, and the radiator might be interesting. Maybe you've tried this different ways. Or the bench and that window on the left. But it's all there, and the texture is there, and there's nothing that's really overexposed or underexposed. So just the way the elements work together, I'm going to give it a 14.
Honor Award for Ann Farah, Ray of Light, Mansfield Penitentiary.
Wow. Looks like a jet-assisted mushroom. Well, it's a formal presentation of a mushroom. That's for sure. You certainly know what it is. You got some detail in it. I wish it were a little bit sharper on the head. It seems to be fairly sharp on the right, but softer for some reason on the left. Maybe that's because of the exposure being bright. Formal composition doesn't hurt me. I just wish it was toned down and sharper. And the foreground is blurred and out of focus there, and a little bit not distracting. I think it kind of adds to the feel of where it is, its environment. but it really needs to be toned and a little bit sharper. This is an 11. Has many elements, and it kind of creates, it shows you where you are. It's a picture of depicting everything that was going on there, and showing, you know, how it looked to you. But as a photograph to stand out in a salon, I think it suffers. It would be more in a photojournalistic category or a sequence category. The chair legs seem to be a bit cropped out as well. Exposure is good throughout, but it is quite busy. 10.
Double exposure abstract.
Partial sphere, half sphere on the left side, and many small spheres within. The color is good, the color is vibrant. I guess you can call it an abstract, doesn't have to be sharp throughout, it can be anything you want it to be. Painterly-like. Compositionally, it's interesting. It's almost like a flower with the petals going out this way in terms of those spheres. But to me, again, it seems to be a little bit busy. 12. Beautiful image. Beautiful image. Tonality on the bird. It's got the meal, I'm not sure what that is, the crab or what it has in the beak. The water just adds to this, the subtle out of focus, soft focus reflection. I don't know if that was done in post or if it was done naturally. Either way, it's very well done. 15.
Honor award for Richard Brewer, Breakfast.
Here's an interesting black and white of this kind of desolate cabin or out in the woods. Pretty good texture throughout, even in the shade. You can see detail in the dark portion under the canopy part and in the left side. Tin roof kind of picking up the highlights, showing that. A little bit bright on the tin roof over here on the covered porch, if you will. And a tad tight in the frame. You could give it a little bit more breathing space on the left side. 12. Very nice. Very nice. Like the mouth open, showing the teeth. Full frame right at you. I'd maybe give it just a little bit more breathing room around it. It's a little tight in the frame, but nevertheless, the expression is there, the texture is there, exposure is very nicely handled. That's a 15.
Honor award for Marshall Westfall, Lion Cub.
This is a beautiful scenic. The lighting on that is just beautiful. A little subtle tonality on the mountains in the background. They just don't block up. One beautifully exposed red tree that just grabs your interest. Positioned very, very well. Nice sky. Once again, I'm a little crazy on this cropping. I think you could eliminate some of the bottom. Almost go right up to where the straight horizontal is before you get into the more cultivated field in the background. It's just got a beautiful feel to it. I'm going to go 15 on it.
Another honor award for Richard Brewer, High Peaks Harvest Time.
Nice composition on this flower. Radiating patterns are always interesting, whether they be bicycle tires or buildings, anything that you can get a radiating pattern. He had some dynamicism, is that a good word, twice tonight, to the photograph. A bit overexposed again. I think it could be deepened down and it would accentuate it a little bit more. And in this case, you're a little bit off center. I would almost keep it dead center because it's such a symmetrical flower. Dead center might be a bit better. But the exposure is just too bright. Compositionally, it's so nice. I wish they were toned down. 12.
Honor award for Sandy Silvestri, Sunshine Dahlia.
Well, Mom looks grumpy. Is that Mom and Dad, or two Mom and young pup, kind of a teenager? I don't know. We just saw a whole series on public TV, I think it was, Big Cats 24/7. Did anybody see that? Oh, it was really, if it comes up again, I think you should see it, those of you who are photographing lions. But I like it. I mean, the expressions are what they are, and you fill the frame, the exposure is beautiful. Zoo shot, but the background is just, you know, subtle enough that it makes them, and the color being such a different color, stand out. So this too is a 15.
Honor award for Marcia Westfall, Mother and Son.
I'm telling you, you guys are bringing out the big guns on these projected images. It says 16. I don't think it needs a comment at all. I mean, it's just right there. The framing, the beautiful timed exposure to give the angel hair effect in the falls. You know, it's not over sharp. It's not too blurred or blocked up. Comes right down from the top of the photograph, middle of the photograph. You can see its source over the falls in the main area, and then curves around back into the picture so it doesn't go out of the frame until it gets into the flat portion. And the framing is beautiful, the colors are beautiful. Again, 16 if I could give it, but 15.
Honor award for Barb Hardick, Early Morning Wiskoy Falls. This is colored flowers.
I like this one. It's a group of flowers put together pretty nicely. I wish the dominant flowers were a more dynamic color. I wish they were the reds or the yellows rather than the subtle brownish or deep magenta colors, because they're the dominant flowers in the picture. But compositionally, it's a really nice array. 13.
Honor award for Robert Miller, colored flowers.
Whoa. I'll tell you, you've taken such a simple subject and really turned it into a dynamite composition and a dynamite photograph. This is one of the best fungus pictures I think I've ever seen, and I hope it was up a little bit because it was on the ground. I hope you had that you're younger, a lot younger than I am, because I'd still be laying there. That's just terrific. Compositionally, you can see all the, I don't know, call them spores. I don't know enough about fungi to be authoritative on it, but you can see all of it under the umbrella of that foreground mushroom, and just a little bit of balance with that tiny one on the background. I wish there was a little bit of space there, just a tad of space, but boy, it is really, really a dynamite picture for such a minimalist subject. 15.
Honor award for Janet Kraft, Sloped Mushrooms.
Well, this is interesting too. I guess a tugboat. I don't know if the big boat's pulling it. I don't know if that tugboat can move that boat, or if it's the other way around. It's almost like the big one is dragging the tugboat. But I like, it's a major-minor composition, if you will, of the big boat versus the little boat. Detail in both of them. You don't need the whole left side of that boat to be in the picture. Exposure is nice, the color is nice, the composition is nice. I would just really try and tone down that hot spot in the sky. You know, you could clone in the dark clouds and get rid of that. and maybe a little touch of a crop in the foreground. 13.
Not an honor award, but it's called I Think I Can.
Oh, look at this. That cat's got a real twist. I wonder if it hurt its neck. It looks like it's got a twisted neck, but look at the collar. It's almost like a Santa Claus cat. It's got a beard. That is one neat kitty. I don't know much about cats. I like it though. Just the positioning, the expression, a little bit of competition with the angled background, but I just think the cat just pops out. That's 14.
Honor award for Tim Marinaccio, black and white cat in black and white.
Super shot. This is super. Wow, somebody had a great eye on this one. Just, I don't know if, it had to be natural, I think. I don't know if anybody could put that in post or not. It's so beautifully backlighted on those chairs. It's a natural shot, and yet it's a graphic shot. It's a combination of nature and graphics all rolled into one. And just a touch of subtlety in those green trees in the background and even into the mountain portion. And these chairs just pop. That's a 15.
Honor award for Janet Kraft, 5 chairs at dawn.
This is a little more subtle, but this too is nicely handled with the cacti and the sun just, I don't know if it's coming up or going down. It doesn't matter. It's nicely positioned, nicely framed, and a little bit modeled because of the bush portion in the background. Nicely done. Nice composition. Maybe a touch crop, make it a little stronger vertical, but that's a minor point. 13. Yipe stripes. Beautiful. Again. Whoa. Hope you weren't throwing that at me. Composition is beautiful. Again, it might be your projector. I'm telling you, all the whites seem to be just a little hot. The exposure on the legs is right there, but on the back hindquarters of the adult zebra, they're kind of blown away. But the composition is it's just so motherly, you know, cuddling the little one. I'm going to ignore the brightness. 15.
Honor award for Beverly Goldschmidt, mother and newborn.
This is a nice little fall vignette, if you will, a little scene of the colored leaves. I like you accentuating the main maple leaf, I guess, right in the pretty much center of the frame, because that one has the most interesting shape and the most interesting color. But it becomes a little bit busy with the others around it and taking you out of the frame. I would almost take that. I've done this myself, as a matter of fact. I was just out in the last couple of days. And you can just pick that out of there and put it on grass or put it on a rock by itself, or maybe with just one other major minor kind of composition. So here you have I think the setting for a beautiful image, but that one really should be isolated a little bit more. 11. Oh, this must be the same place. This seems to be, I wonder if somebody purposely unsharpened this or did some of a texture effect on it. Because it's not razor sharp, but I think you don't want it to be razor sharp. I think you want it to look weathered like the building itself. I like where the wheelchair is in this one. I like the blue highlight, wherever that came from, with you did that. I think it's probably natural coming through the window and the blue color picked up on the wheelchair. A little hot on the window itself. That maybe, I don't know if you could tone that down, you'd have to actually put in isolated and put in a little bit of a grayish tone or something, because it is pretty hot and I'd rather stare at the, or look at, I should say, the wheelchair and its detail. Lot going for it. Again, if you can get back to this place, I think this has a multitude of opportunities. As it stands, it's going to be a 12. Rodeo pictures. We're seeing a lot of rodeo pictures these days. The action is excellent. Just excellent. The detail, and I guess that's a bull or young bull or whatever it is, young bull, young rider, juvenile division maybe, I don't know. But still, it's so dynamic. Detail throughout on the rider and the bull. Not much you can do about the folks in the background. Maybe you could isolate the figure, the bull and the rider, and then reverse it and tone down the background. I've never tried to photograph one of these, so I can't really come up with all the ideas, but a lot of them have signs in these things which drive you crazy. So, aside from that, 14. Great panning effect on this. Horse stands out, obviously showing the motion. Looks like all hoofs off the ground. The fence, using the panorama, the fence almost disappears, and the crowd, or whatever that is, probably a crowd in the background, disappears. The rider just pops out from the background. Exposure is well handled, the composition is well handled. Detail in the whites on the shirt pretty much, and detail in the horse. 15.
Honor award for Mike Desiak, Little Buckaroo.
Now this image is razor sharp throughout, and subtle colored bird, I forget what this is. Just say, oh, tell me later. I'm losing track of my birds, but love the beak open, love the subtle background, and the tonality in the whites, the blacks, the grays is just excellent. It's just so simple. I know everybody says now you got to have birds doing something, mating, flying, landing. But this portrait is excellent, and it's a 15.
Honor award for Eugene Price, Black-Throated Sparrow.
Well, I like the repetition of the other kayaks or boat shells or whatever they might be in the foreground. The repetition and the slight subtle curve there. In contrast with the foliage in the background. The sky is really, really interesting, but it needs to be really brought down because it is quite overexposed. And you can get these two twigs out of the top, just crop them out or erase them out of there. They're just distracting. So you got some really nice elements here to work with. I hope you tried some different angles and different exposures. The way it is, though, it is going to be an 11. Another beautiful picture. Hummingbird coming in, beak slightly open, ready to stick out his tongue and get some nectar. The razor sharp on the feet. The tail is pretty good. Just a tad soft on the bird's head itself, but the sharpness right here is on the tip of the flower and the feet, and the flower itself is a bit hot and could be toned down. I love the background on it. So 13. I like this contrast in terms of the subject matter of the tree against that, heavy stone cliff in the background. The starkness of the trunk, the subtlety of the green trees, and then the stone. That's these three elements all coming together in a beautifully composed scene, and just enough modeling in the sky so that it's not pure, clouds or pure blue. I think a pure blue wouldn't hurt it, but the cloud effect is nice. And this is so well balanced, really nicely done for a scenic. 15.
Honor award for Sally Brewer, elk cap and fir tree.
It's a great sports shot. Good expression. Tearing off the shirt. You can't help that. A couple of, I guess that's the ref in the background. I don't know enough about this sport to know if it's a foul or not a foul, but the composition is great. The activity is good. The motion is good. The exposure is good. Minor point on the left side, no need to have that partial bench and sign or whatever that is. It could just be clipped out with a crop, and the rest of it is right there. Still going to go 14. If I didn't see the face, I thought it was a pretty interesting pretzel. I think I love the coloring. I love the composition, if you will. If you can get a composition of a snake that looks like a pretzel, that's pretty good. They're usually strung out, but I think, God, I hope it's not my eyes. It seems to be a little bit soft. But boy, I like everything else about this. It's so different. I don't know what kind of a snake that is or where you took it, internal or out in the field. Oh, I want to give it more, but it just doesn't seem to be sharp enough. 12.
This is Ecuador. Oh, I'm sorry.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace?
Yeah.
Sure is. Well, you got some interesting stuff. You made you got through the piece wheel. You have the color, and then of course you toned the rest of it down to black and white, which makes it kind of interesting. But the subject matter itself is not a wow factor. I think it just needs to be. It's machinery, and the background is that its framing is kind of modeled together, sunflowers, nothing really standing out, and the foreground shaft, the wheel shaft here is quite out of focus. Could also use more room on the side. This is a 10. Industrial shot, nice black and white industrial shot. Great exposure. I don't object to the tilt. I think that adds a little bit to it. Doesn't always have to be perfectly horizontal or vertical. Minor point, I don't know if I'd keep that tower in that's going out of the frame on the right, but if you cropped it off there, then you'd have a half of a tank building. I would almost take a look at this, if you could, to crop off the two towers on the right side and just use the two on the left. So compositionally, I think it could be improved slightly. 12.
The last one.
That was it?
No, one more.
Oh. Again, a nice shot of the hummingbird coming in to get a little bit of nectar. The background is nice, not as soft as some we've seen. And in this case, It's not objectionable because the color on the right balances the color of the flowers. It's almost like a reflection of some sort, framing the hummingbird. And their wings beat so rapidly that there's no objection to seeing them in a blurred situation. Positioning is good. Flowers are nice. 14.
That's it.
I'll tell you, you folks really have, this last group, not to slight the printmakers, but I think this last group of projected images was really dynamite, really excellent. Oops.
That picture of the 3 kids was from a family photo shot I did.
It was really, are they your grandkids or?
No, it was probably a page shoot.
Oh, a page shoot. Oh, they must have loved it.
They liked it. I got some nice stuff for them.
That was, I don't think I've ever seen 3 children in a family type setup with such nice expressions. It's what made it.
Yeah. Good to see you, Bob.
So how did I do?
Good job. Good job. I just read some more about what I'm going to do. It's just, there's no points. I don't have to make points.
Oh, you don't?
Just the
critique.